Afternoon Talk on SAFM.
Right, so time to get into the spotlight as we do every day from 3 o'clock up to about 3:45 before we get into Radio VUCA. So first up, if you have any suggestions who else we should be putting in the spotlight, well, feel free to do just that. And the best way is to email me, and that is to Ashraf, spelled ASHRAF, Ashraf at safm.co.za. You can also tweet to Ashraf Garda1. If you are doing that, use the hashtag Afternoon Talk. You can also comment on Facebook. Lots of people wanting to know about my guest, who I'm going to talk to next. That's Kabelo. I don't know what else I want to ask you because they seem to know you well. Well, fine. Good stuff. So, call-ins, a challenge here. We often do this, Kabelo. I can tell you now, if anybody, if you know Kabelo personally, sort of worked with him or are related, if you're related to him, well, you can call. But it doesn't mean if you're not related, you can't call. You can call anyway. If you just know the person and you want to just be inspired or want to ask that one question that you've always wanted to ask, well, it's a good chance to do that. So thanks for coming in, Kabelo Mabalane, for the full title, to allowing us to put you in the spotlight.
Pleasure. I don't know if it's such a wise idea to get people who I've worked with to phone. I don't know what do you think they're going to do.
They're going to fight with you or what?
I don't know.
No, nothing to be afraid about anyway.
Yeah, sure.
What are you doing now?
I'm growing up. And just well on my way just to, I guess, leave a legacy behind. I've been in the music business now for almost 17 years now. And
17 years.
Yeah, started when I was just 19 odd.
And
at my age now, it's just so important for me to leave a legacy. I mean, I want to become a family man. I want to have kids one day soon.
Is part of the importance an exit plan as well?
Yeah, I
need to stop singing and perform.
100%. So it's all part and parcel of the legacy. Just working hard and like you say, just come up with an exit plan and make sure that whatever you do can sustain.
Do you think you're too old now, or you're too tired?
Never. No ways. I got so much energy.
Just checking, indeed.
So much energy.
Just checking, indeed. Right.
Yeah.
What if you reflect? So what you're occupied with now in terms of projects?
Projects right now. I mean, the Shout campaign that I started with myself and Danny keeps us very, very busy.
How busy?
Quite busy. I mean, we meet regularly as a board. Our last project was we've just actually had a golf day, and that meant getting everybody from everywhere to come and play and pay to play so that we can raise money and do the wonderful work that we do. We managed to raise quite a bit of money. We're building a library in Deep Sloot at Primary 4. So that's kept us quite busy.
And that's all to do with Shout, right?
Yeah, that's
but it's interesting now because in a strange way, I was sort of invited to your guys' last recording. I couldn't get there, just too busy, right?
Yeah.
But it almost seems like now that the two of you are all doing it for a good cause, but
Yes.
that your careers are now sort of interlinked. And they're being defined by what you guys do through Shout. Now, how much of that is a good thing because the cause is excellent?
Yeah.
But how much of that, from a career point, is also problematic?
I think he's not a bad guy to be associated with, and I hope he thinks the same of me.
Yeah.
So we'll exploit that as much as we can, and remain cognizant of the dangers of being boxed as one entity. We will exploit the entity, but also very well aware that we need to be our own people. So we're very cognizant of that.
How did Shout come about? And your involvement with it?
I mean, after the death of Lucky Dube, in fact, Lucky Dube was the first person Danny saw live. It's the first concert.
Okay, so therefore was inspired.
There was that connection.
Yeah.
So when he passed away, he came up to me and said, what, I think as musos, we need to just, start a project that's got all to do with messaging and just speaking out against the ills of crime in the country. Let's use music because music is our forte. And it just so happened that at that time I was also in studio recording. I was working on my own version of Shout, the actual song, the Tears for Fears version.
Called,
yeah. And then he heard that song. He's like, "Why don't we use that song?" And then the rest is history. We called, our enviable list of contact contacts, friends and,
Or
colleagues.
musicians, right?
Actors across the board, models, just everybody in the entertainment industry. And what was awesome about it was nobody really gave us a tough time. Everybody was like, I'm there, passionate South Africans who wanted to make a difference.
Interesting one indeed. And now, how long has Shout been around for now?
We've been around since 2010.
Okay, so
we launched March 16th, 2010.
Seems like it's even longer.
Yeah.
Your thoughts on the impact it's made?
People always say, do you guys think you're going to curb the pandemic? I'm like, look, if we can touch one life at a go, I think we're making a big difference. And, it doesn't get recorded as much as it should, by the media. But I know we're making a difference in different communities.
And how do you know that?
Well, I guess, people come to us with needs. Money doesn't solve problems, but it surely alleviates, some issues, so it's just, the response in the people's face, the feedback, the feedback that we get from people about, our association with them and how it's helped them. So that's how we're gauging whether we're making a difference or not. And I mean, it's just, we're building a library, and only God knows what that can do to, a child in Diepsloot.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, at least very much get them to read.
I wish we had a template to have, to just look at the measurables and see what difference it makes.
Yeah, and I mean, it's interesting, we're talking serious things about music, but the impact that it has on a very serious aspect of our society. Yeah. Well, shout out if you want to say hi to Kabelo. 0891 104207. 0891 104207. We're chatting to Kabelo from Shout and everything else. Let me not box him at all. If you want to say hi to him as well. Let's get to some of the callers to 34701. 34701. If you want to SMS me, it's going to cost you 2 rands. Let's go to Durban first up. Musa on the line. Hi.
Hi.
Yes, hi.
Yes, sir.
Hi. I just wanted to give you salute for great work that you have done. And I've heard once that you are now like a Christian and a pastor. And I heard that, what's his name, Hip Hop Pansula, you're inviting him to fells and stuff. I just want to hear about that.
All right. Musa, before you we get an answer, give me one Kabelo story that really inspires you.
For me, that is quite inspirational if he has converted and he has become a Christian and is also influencing other people and ministering to other people.
Okay.
So that's quite inspiration enough because I'm also a youth pastor and I work with young people a lot.
All right. Thanks for that call. That's Musa in Durban. Someone said, forget about being a Christian. You're a priest as well. You want to fill in the blanks there?
Yeah, fill in the blanks gladly. I just got to a point in my life where I needed a change. It was around 2004. I just cleaned up from drugs and alcohol. But I just believe that, we are spirit beings having a physical experience and not physical beings having a spiritual experience, So I, as the guy said, I am a Christian. I decided to go to Bible school and learn what the Word of God says. And I think I would advise any young man and woman, in fact, anybody, to go study the Word of God. Does it mean I'm a pastor? No. I graduated, yes.
But you're a missionary if you giving your message now.
I do. I mean, the Word of God says, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. So whatever's in your heart surely comes out. So I'll get asked to speak at churches, at youth conferences, and I gladly do so. But I also encourage people that you don't necessarily have to be a pastor to know and share the Word of God. Yeah.
Where were you when you sort of cleaned yourself up from drugs and alcohol? I mean, what made you do that?
I was just sick and tired of sick and tired of being sick and tired of all the scrutiny. I was doing really well in my career, and it just seemed that the only person who was in my way to get to, who stopped me from getting to where I needed to get to was me. And I just got to a place where I was like, you know what, I'm going to get help. Unbeknownst to me that there was help, and I just like to reach out to whoever is struggling with addiction out there, that you'd be surprised if you reach out for help, you will find help.
Okay, I'm going to play. Talking about how, but let's just talk about music for a second. I'm going to play one of the songs just so that people who can be inspired by the type of thing that you've put out there. What are you going to choose now? You guys have had this private discussion.
I've let
you and
him
Patrick.
choose.
So Patrick's going to have to tell us, and you can tell us what we're going to play here. We'll play 30 seconds of something there.
Oh, he's going to play a track I did with my group TKZ called Kabelo Mabalane, which is a favorite.
Okay, and there's lots of people sort of listening around us in the studio, and I can see sort of clapping their hands. Okay, this is a TKZ version. Enjoy it.
Hello, December. Hello. What's up? Is it on? Let's go. Wangrata, Akieta, so. Wangrata, Akieta, so. Wangrata, Akieta, so. Akieta, so. Wangrata, Akieta, so. Akidala, so. Lisso. Wangrata, Akieta, so. Akidala, so. Come on. Arwasi TKZ abantwana esengage asizmix nabantwana alright seve party sizmix esijolo bemnandi ayewena ayela ubani uphatha isigubhu sangampela fela hula phala fala.
Okay, so that's a throwback to a different era for you.
Yeah, definitely.
What does it feel like listening to yourself?
Well, I hear the chords and I get thrown right back to that moment, and it was a really, really great time. I'd relive it any day when we were making that.
All right, anybody else wants to say hi to Kabelo? What's that one question you always wanted to ask him? I will pick out some of the tweets and Facebook comments as well, by the way, but if you want to say hi sort of in real time, calling in to 0891 104 207, you certainly can do so. Let's just go back to your early career. Where did it all start for you? Because you said you started, you were 9 or 13, you said, right?
19.
19. But I mean, before that, let's just talk about your early days as a primary school,
just
high
a
school.
Sports loving. In fact, I always tell
Because you're a sports guy, right? Yeah.
I always tell people that my dream when I left high school, I was dead set on being a Springbok rugby player.
Really?
That was my goal.
And what position? Probably a center or something.
Nah,
you were
front
bigger.
row. I was bigger, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I was definitely front row. But then when I got to tertiary, those, I don't know what they feed those Afrikaans boys, because they're huge.
You got left behind.
I think they've got some, they're from the Viking lineage or something. And they just proved to be too big.
Okay.
And yeah.
So from the front row, they said scrum
half. Yeah, 100%. And then, you need so much support, to play sport professionally after school. And I guess my mom and my dad were also very dead set on, me following the academic route.
And they wanted you to study what?
Just be in school, whatever it is. Yeah, just get to school. So I didn't follow that dream. And then music had always been a love of mine from day one, and around the same time when I was at tertiary, I met I hooked up again with two school friends of mine.
Okay.
And it was the birth of TKZ, and the rest is history.
And what did your family say, from rugby player to a musician?
My mom's always been supportive. My dad just never ever changed his mind about you should have gone to school.
All right, I'm going to get to some of the callers, Sibusiso and Tabo, in just a second, as well as we put Kabelo in the spotlight. But here's a name that you should know since you're in this industry, Zwai Bala. You know the name, don't you?
Yeah. I know Zwai.
Zwai, do I have you on the line? Hi.
Zwai Bala.
Hello, Ashraf.
Yeah, how's it, man? Yeah, thanks for your time.
Sorry?
Yeah, give us a great Kabelo story.
Can I give you a great Kabelo story?
Or more, if there is.
Oh, no. Caught by surprise.
The censored version.
Yeah, no, I'll give you a story that I don't think he likes to remember. We used to, we're very, very, very naughty, hey? Mm-hmm. I think even before we even did music, what attracted to us was not even the music, but like a good laugh.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And there was this one time when I was still driving the small Golf, a jumbo Golf,
mm-hmm.
and Tukulo discovered what we call the Put Masui.
Boy, no way, you're not going to go there, boy.
I've never actually gone there. I've never, but I think it's important for people to know just how normal
No
and
way,
basically
dude,
just how mischievous we are. And oh man, Uput Maswiti was basically like just what you call a sweep, like imvubu. what you call that, a shambok or what?
Yeah, it was a shambok. Boy.
Yeah. Just a shambok. And basically, I won't even go into detail, but I mean, we used to have a good laugh just smacking people just with them not even expecting and just laugh at how much pain they have. And the one time we're just doing this, driving around the suburbs. And Kabelo, I mean, the three of us were always together. We lived together. We did everything together, you know? And then the one time, Kabelo wasn't actually with us, but we smacked someone, and then this guy took the number plate and reported us to the police. And the police traced the registration number and came to the house where I was staying, which is where we normally were. And we were directed straight to the back room where we used to write all those early TKZ songs. And then they found three guys. Then, unfortunately, Kabelo was there on the day that they found us there. And he wasn't even there when we caused that mischief, you know. And they shame Kabelo has never been so scared in his life. It's like
Kabelo doesn't know what to say at the moment. He's very.
By association.
All right, hold on the line. He's very tongue-tied. You want to respond there? We need like a truth and reconciliation commission for
It
you.
just further just cements what I always say about Zwei. Zwei doesn't have timing. Zwei says anything, anytime, anyway. It doesn't matter who's listening. No, boy, you've just, no way.
You shouldn't become a politician, right? No chance.
Maybe he should become a politician
Is that
because
normal
some
now?
things need to be said. You know,
Okay.
and Zwei will say all of them, you know.
Listen, Zwei, before I let you go, talk to me about his music, about Kabelo's music, serious stuff. I mean, just what sort of impact has he made, considering, I mean, you've been a part of his life?
Yeah, Kabelo is always, I mean, he's always been a music lover through and through. Even when we were at school, he's always had CDs, always had the headphones in his ears. And I don't know of all the CDs that he had, how much of them he actually owned. Because I was always borrowing CDs from people and he doesn't return them, apparently. But even Tukulo got his real appreciation for music from Kabelo. I mean, he would listen to anything from Ice Cube to Frank Sinatra, and he got us into Moses Molelekwa, who we eventually got to work with fondly. And you know, in the early days of TKZ, people were like saying, okay, we see there's this like lead guy who's Magesh or Tukolo, and then Zwei is like doing all the music. What is this one doing? But his role was so important because being the music lover that he is, like he would be able to detect a hit from a mile away.
Okay.
You know, I mean, with the likes of Nalama Pansula and so on, Kabelo was, I like to refer to him as the backbone of the group, you know.
Oh, nice.
He would just like say, this is going to work or it's not going to work.
All right. Nice way to end the discussion. Great stuff. Thanks for chatting to us.
Thanks.
Thank you,
and
thank
you
you.
certainly got your buddy thinking about those days with the Shambok and whatever you. All right. Thanks for that. That's
I
why.
might just add, sorry.
Yes.
No, but Kabelo as a person has always been very strong-willed. And I mean, I'm just like so proud of him that this year he just finished 10 years clean since he declared that you're clean of drugs and alcohol and so on. This year it was actually his 10 years sober, and I think that's a huge milestone. And congratulations.
That's great stuff. Yeah, indeed, absolutely. All right, thanks for chatting to us. Great
Thank
talking
you,
to you,
cheers.
indeed. I'm going to get to Tabo and Trifina. I'll read some of the tweets as well from Petini and Tabza in just a second. Tabo, let's get to you from Centurion. Hi, Tabo.
Hi, extra father.
I'm good, man. Of course I'm good. Yeah, hi. Okay.
Right there.
Yeah, go for it. Okay, we seem to have a connection problem. Tabo, I'll tell you what, please do call back because I need to take your call and want to get your views, and you've been holding on. So if we've lost Tabo for now, but do call back, I'll get your call straight away. In fact, Trifina in Hyde Park, hi.
Hi.
How's it, Trifina?
I'm well and you?
Good, thank you.
I just want to say hi to Kabelo. Is he still there?
Of course he still is
Hi,
listening to you.
Trifina, how are you?
I'm well and you, Buga Love. Eh?
Good, yes.
You know you are bearing a golden surname, Mabalane.
Yes.
I'm also born from the Mabalane from Kwapiri.
Oh, Kwapi.
I know your family, but you're still alive, Tiki. I will explain to you some other time.
Okay.
But nevertheless, I say you carry on, guy. Good luck, eh?
Thank you very
I
much.
believe now you're going to be a preacher. That's very good.
No, thank you very much.
That is very good.
Okay.
God has made you, and then He will pick you up as well and say, yes, my man, this is what I want you to do for me.
Thank you very much.
It is all God calling, and you must obey it, and you must go for it. Okay.
Lovely. What do you think of his music?
Sorry?
What do you think of his music?
Oh, Kabelo's music is very, very nice. You know, when he's not in the group, you will see or the leader is not there. He was like the stem of the group. If he's not there, the branches will fall down.
Okay.
A very strong personality.
Okay, you should become a preacher as
Yeah.
well. Just
No,
take
he
it.
should.
Yeah. Okay, thanks for that, Trifina. Well put indeed. Some of the comments I've got, I'm going to run through a couple. Okay, those calls that we lost, please do call back. I want to get to your views once again. 089 1104 207. I'm Ashraf Garda. In the spotlight is Kabelo Mabalane. Luvuyo saying we need to create value. Let me see if I can start our companies, stop doing diminishing cake through BE. Not too sure whether it's referring to you or just business in general. I once heard that he's ordained as a pastor. How true is that? Okay, Is he still a pastor? Motswa Lady saying, Ashraf, you are with a legend. In the studio, ask him if he will ever release an album as TKZ. By the way, I'm a big TKZ fan. Benson Paponi saying, ask him what advice can he give to up-and-coming artists like Zahara on how to avoid drugs and bad friends in the music business. Okay, important questions there. Your answers?
Sure. The Zahara question.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think what I've learned is I get asked often to speak to artists who are going down that route, and I just go back to kind of when I was when people tried to speak to me, I'd always put up walls and I'd get very defensive. And I just always think experience is the best teacher, and I'll only help somebody who thinks they need help. So I would never prescribe what to do, what not to do, because experience does that very, very well for people.
So you if you see someone doing wrong, you just let them go down that road. No, they're gonna get messed up, and then hopefully when they say help, then you'll be there.
I think somebody doing something wrong knows they're doing something wrong. I think they do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting one. Thanks for that. I've got two Tabos holding on. Let's just get to the first one from Centurion first up, and then we'll get to the one from Bryanston. Hi, Tabo. Tabo from Centurion. Hello. Yes, how's it, man?
Good, man. You have a legend right there.
I know.
Yes. I just have two questions for Kabelo. The first one, or before I ask a question, I just would like to say I'm very proud of him. And the first question that I have for him is, what does he think of the current state of local music, particularly Kwaito music in the country? And secondly, is he happy with the current local music played on radio stations? Those are my questions.
Okay, good. I'll get a response in just a second. Let's get to the other Tabo. Thanks for that, Tabo from Centurion. Tabo in Bryanston, before we get to the news. Hi.
Hi. I just want to say first, Kabelo, my brother, I'm very proud of you. Every time I see you, man, I just get encouraged. And not that I have been where you were, but I don't know, there's just something about you that just says, look, that is a man, maybe someone who you can look up to. And my question would just be, coming from the environment that you were in, like, maybe you're 10 years clean now, what is one of the most difficult things that you have to actually let go of, or something that was still holding on to you? And how did you actually overcome that thing, if there is any?
Okay, good stuff. Thanks for that call, Tab. I'll get answers after the news. There's some very serious questions here, and you need to do some serious soul searching indeed. Right, we'll continue talking to around 4:45, so maybe time for one or two more calls. And I'm just taking a chance, if you're related, and I don't mean why, but to anybody else, if you're related to Kabelo and you want to say hi to him, well, please do so. Especially, and I'm just taking the chance, especially if you were probably from the time when he was thinking about playing rugby as a career, and you said, well, let's see where we were going on this one there. So if you want to do that, Others, I'll read the SMSs too, 34701. For now, my guest certainly is Kabelo Mabalane. We're talking about music, we're talking about his career, we're talking about the priesthood and whatever. But there's some interesting SMSs I want to read. So one says, did he sort out SARS? Is he rich now? People are pretty blunt, okay.
Yeah, no, sure.
Did you sort out SARS?
Yeah, geez, you know what? I was a young man, and you know, when you're young, you make lots of mistakes, you know. But yeah, you grow and you learn, and hopefully, I think mistakes. We're meant to learn from our mistakes. So to answer your question, I'm almost in good books with the revenue service.
And are you rich now?
I'm well on my way. Am I rich? I guess in a financial sense, not yet. You know, I mean, when, like, how much do you have to say you're rich? So, yeah, I'd say no, yet.
Okay,
not
yet, right? Some of the questions we had earlier on about your thoughts on Kwaito, local music, and what did you have to give up?
I guess let's talk about the music. Am I happy with the current state of local music? I obviously, like I said, I started quite a while ago, and you know, in terms of production, you know, when I started back then, you could hear tracks that were made in South Africa, and you could hear tracks that came from overseas, you know, but now you can't tell. I really believe that the production value of SA music has really gone through the roof, and I just think it's a matter of time till we have our first, you know, top 10 Billboard artist.
So what you're saying is we're that good now?
I think we are that good. However, the guy did ask me
about the airtime.
About the airtime. Yes. We're not getting nearly as much airtime as we need. It's just, it's embarrassing sometimes putting the radio on, and we're bombarded with, you know, with international music. I'm definitely an advocate for the quotas changing. Call it a 85-15 split.
But do we need protection? I mean, see, that's the other point.
100%.
What about
it
free
needs
market?
to be. It needs to be. It definitely needs to come from top down. It needs to be legislated. I mean, you look at France, you look at Australia and England. You know, as soon as government got involved, and it was, you know, legislated, their respective industries started booming. And till we get that right, I mean, you look at our African counterparts, you know, the Nigerians, all they ever play is Nigerian music. And they're doing very well on the world stage, you know. So, yeah, I think that's one thing we gotta do right.
Okay, then the other question was, when you sort of gave up, you know, drugs and alcohol, so what is the hardest thing you had to give up when you moved on? What is really hard?
Sure. The hardest thing, you know, it's been 10 years, and I must say, you know, just to connect with the emotions of 10 years ago is very, very difficult. But I'll talk present time. I'll talk kind of present tense. I think euphoric recall is the most is what I struggle with now, because you always play, in my mind, I always play the good part of the movie.
Okay, right.
You know,
yes.
and I think, yes, like, but it would be cool to have a drink, eh?
Yeah.
You know, you just think of the good times. But then somehow, somewhere, I just have the ability of being able to play the whole movie. And once I play the whole movie, then I'm like, nah, I'm not going to
get there. Which is probably the lesson to learn, isn't it? It's never just about one thing, indeed. Right, there's a tweet here from Motswaledi saying, Ashraf, you were with a legend. Ask him if they'll ever release an album as TKZ. And by the way, I'm a big fan. Okay, so TKZ?
Look, I am who I am today because of TKZ and what I learned there. And we did do an album in 2009. Will we do one in future? I know Tukulo's just released his own album. Zwai's released his own album. I'm releasing my own album in another 2 weeks. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm just, we're good friends. And I think, you know, anything is possible, really.
But it won't be permanent. It'll be sort of a one-off, if it is.
Yeah, I guess, you know, the dynamics have changed completely, you know, compared to when we first started out. When we first started out, all we did was TKZ. You know, Zwai's married, he's got 2 kids. The dynamics have completely changed. You know, I've completely changed. You know, we've grown. Our visions, I think, why TKZ was very successful was, you know, we all had one vision. And now I feel the vision's changed, and it's not a bad thing. You know, it's not a bad thing.
Well, you want to grow up. I mean,
yeah, you
literally,
do grow up. 100%.
Absolutely, yeah.
100%.
What for you then is your unfinished business? What's a burning ambition that you haven't yet achieved?
I mean, I had a vision, you know, when I started out in the music business, and for me, my music career was always bigger than, you know, South Africa, and that said, you know, I understand, you know, how much SA has done for me in terms of, you know, in my growth in the business, but I really believe that, you know, I owe it to myself, you know, to go beyond the borders, intercontinentally and internationally, and you know, myself and my team are working hard at that right now.
So that is part of the plan.
That is definitely part of the plan. Yeah.
And I'm not saying you're going to fail, but assuming if you did, would you be disappointed if we had this discussion in whatever 15 years and you never really cracked it overseas? I mean, how important is it for you?
Fortunately or unfortunately, failure is not an option. It's just one of those things. I'm dead set at doing it, and it will happen.
Unless you're thinking of playing rugby in the Bok front line, and they probably need you at the moment.
Nah, that's not going to happen.
Lost to the Wallabies. Right, Richard in Pretoria. Hi.
Hi, Ashraf.
How's it, man?
I was just listening to your interview a few minutes ago.
Yeah.
Something struck me as some kind of contradiction. Your guest is saying that, well, he's suggesting that he would like protectionism of some sort, including even by legislation.
Mm-hmm.
And then he gives an example of Nigeria. He says all they ever do there is to play Nigerian music.
Yeah.
But then he says something strange. He says they are taking over the world. Now, if you go the route of opening up, then the best of the stars have a hope of taking over the world. But if, on the other hand, what you do is you make every country to be a cell, so to speak, and you only play music for that from that country in that country.
So what you're saying, if everybody
grow bigger than your country.
If everybody does the same thing, we'll never hear any other music. Okay, interesting question, Richard. Thanks for that. I'll bring it up. Thank you. Does he have a point?
No, he's got a very valid point. If he listened clearly to what I was saying, I was just asking for the quotas to be altered. I mean, we cannot have South African Music Week where we play only South African music for a week in our own country.
Mm-hmm.
I did say an 85-15% split. That means, you know, the majority of music you play is South African music. But of course you have to have, you know, music from other parts of the country. That's what I was saying.
Okay. So some other comments we've had. Well, I want to pick out some of the tweets. Ayanda saying, well done to Kabelo for rising up. He is impacting a lot of people, and may he continue standing strong. And Peteni saying, Kabelo is a great inspiration. He inspired me to train, participate, and finish the Comrades Marathon. May God continue to bless him. Tebs are saying, what a legend you got there. Please ask him if they will still release an album under TKZ. It's a very common question. I see that. So there's lots of fans certainly wanting to know about that, right? Yeah. Some of the others, Ben's, let me just see. What advice, okay, there's another one about Zahara there. Okay, I should have asked a similar one there. Let's just leave it at that. By the way, Herman Mashaba, I mentioned, will be the guest on Siki Show tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. So 9 o'clock, I think for an hour, 9 to 10. Don't miss that. As he talks about business, and I think his take on, in terms of capitalism versus socialism, should be really interesting chatting about that. But for now, it's Kabelo Mabalane. What are your thoughts about politics? I mean, we were laughing earlier on, and you suggested maybe this is why you should get into politics, right? Would you get into politics? Because musicians have followings, and in other countries, you know, followers means votes. You can deliver.
You know, from where I stand, and I say this with the utmost respect, it kind of feels, I could be wrong, that what happens in the political space is just, you know, lots of talking, and not much gets done. You know, so my standpoint is, you know, I just believe in service. You know, I believe that leadership is about service. And I'm not going to sit and kind of point fingers at our leaders. I'm responsible for where I'm at, and I'll serve there, and that's how I'll make a difference.
Who do you really admire as a leader? And just leave Mandela out. When I say leader, it doesn't mean politics. It's just a leader anyway. Just someone who says, "Wow, you know what? This person, he or she really leads," and I admire that.
For me, it would definitely have to be Pastor Ray Macaulay.
Okay.
just looking at his life and what he stood for, his contribution to our country, what he's gone through, and still being able to stand and say, "This is me," that resonates with me a lot.
Okay, if you did, however, have lunch with the president, Zuma, that is, what would you put on the agenda?
The wives issue.
Are you going to tell him what?
I'll just ask him why.
So many wives.
Why so many? I mean, one woman is a lot. Is a lot to worry about. Now I don't know how many he's on now, but I'll definitely say about why.
Who would you like to meet for lunch that you haven't met, but it's an ambition for you that if you could plan it, that's the person you want to meet.
A hip hop artist by the name of Sean Carter, Jay-Z.
Okay.
I just really admire the way he has kind of maneuvered around the industry over the past couple of years, and the success that he's made, and how he's used his talent to become an entrepreneur and a businessman.
Because ultimately, that's what you need to do. Get very, very, make a career out of it beyond just the music.
Yeah.
What? Just complete the sentence. I love it when South Africans do what?
I love it when South Africans win. I love it when we win. I miss winning. And I see how winning just impacts us as a people, and how important winning is, because when we win, it just kind of permeates permeates the whole. There's like a certain fragrance that we have when or we give off when we win, and when we're not winning, it does affect.
But you also notice when we win in sport in particular, we raise the flag. I don't see politicians when they make a great speech in Parliament, sort of raising the flag as well and walking around in Parliament. What I'm saying is sport does that, isn't it?
Yeah, no, 100%.
In a way that
no,
I mean,
I think our sports, we are a winning nation, and we need to get back to
So I hate it when South Africans do what?
Complain. I mean, I say this, with the utmost respect again. I've traveled a lot. And I've traveled into, Africa extensively and the rest of the world. And we do complain a lot. And when I'm in another African country and I think of back home and what we actually have as compared to, our counterparts, I'm like, we're so much better off, and I wish we realized what we do have. And that we're not the only country in the world that has issues. Everybody
Absolutely.
has issues.
Yeah, indeed.
We always tend to think that, we have it, we have it that bad, and we don't have it that bad. I mean, yes, we do have issues, of course, but it's not that bad. I'm the eternal optimist. So,
okay.
Yeah.
We've got about 30 seconds to go, so quick ones there. A book that you'd recommend we read?
I always talk about Every Man's Battle. It's a book by Stephen Atterburn and Fred Strucker.
Okay, Every Man's Battle.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And basically, it talks about, the battle of the eyes. I think, men's sexuality is under so much attack. That's why you get so much infidelity and promiscuity and whatever. And it's just a viewpoint from these two guys how to kind of battle that and rise above sexual temptation, as it were.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lastly, a quote you can leave us with?
Pastor Ray McCauley always says this, and I love this. He says, let your character keep you where your gift takes you. Let your character keep you where your gift takes you. I'm sure some people are going to SMS to say, please repeat it. So I'll do that after Radio VUCA. Great. Kabelo, thanks for allowing us to put you in the spotlight. It's been great chatting to you indeed. It. There you are, Kabelo. Hopefully we'll talk to him about music and his career sometime in the future as well. But sometime in the future as well.